Welcome to The Mental Craftsman, where we build stronger minds and share the lessons we've learned through what we've lived.
Good morning, everybody, and welcome in. 12 weeks. If you're one of the people that have been here for 12 weeks, I'm glad that you're here, because we have been questioning ourselves and our way of living on a personal level. Not me here judging people, but what we've done is we've had 12 full weeks of intentional living. 12 full weeks of intentional living. That's what I've been talking about. It has to do with journaling, and we're now on our 12th week, and it's all about integrating and committing to the changes that we feel could happen for us, right? So today I'm going to go over a lot of steps on how to integrate this in your life. Good morning, Farm Girl. How to integrate things. And sometimes when we learn things new or we want new habits, we have an obstacle in our way. And it could be a fear of change, anxiety that it gives us. And you know, when it comes to fear, you can't jump over it. You can't go around it. You can't avoid it. You got to go through it. You got to go through what you're afraid of. So moving from this course to a lifestyle, it will never be a final destination, but what it will be is a daily routine. And you're going to do and take this course with you through routines and through new habits, overcoming obstacles that might be in the way. And ask yourself this question: what do you think that you've learned? For people that have come in here, the people that watch me, where have you learned? There's a lot of people that have been here all 12 weeks that we will call long-term viewers. So how do you take steps and ways that you want to live and new habits, and how do you integrate and tie them into your life? And what obstacles do you feel are going to be in your way that would keep you from intentional living? So that's what we're going to talk about the next hour. Good morning, Alicia. I'm glad that you're in here. So first thing you want to do, you're going to want to clarify our intentions on why we want to start living intentionally. Clarifying our intentions. We're going to start small. We're going to create a ritual. Positive reinforcement, tracking our progress, and stay accountable. And that's easier said than done. Because once you start doing things, you get fear of the unknown. It takes you out of your comfort zone. And man, we don't like to be taken out of our comfort zone, do we? And then we have our self-doubt and our limiting beliefs that this is for everybody else. I don't know if this is going to work for me. And we're going to deal with lack of clarity. And the lack of clarity is, it's right here. Number one is the clarity. Having clear intentions on your outcome. When you go to make changes and you're walking through fear instead of avoiding it and facing it and doing things, self-doubt comes in, misunderstandings, and they're going to have wins sometimes. But when you are on a daily basis practicing it, intentionally practicing it, making it a routine, that'll fade away. The fears will fade away. The change that you expect isn't coming overnight. It's not going to be at your door tomorrow morning. It's not going to be on your doorstep. It's a relationship with a new way of living. And any type of relationship is going to take effort, and it's going to take communication. And since this is a relationship with yourself, to start a new habit or a new lifestyle, the relationship will take communication. And when we talk about reflection and journaling, that's where communication comes from. When we map out our intentions on a piece of paper, that's creating an image that we can look at. One of the things in my personal life, sometimes I get overwhelmed, and I gotta just step back, and I gotta write down what's overwhelming me. What do I have to do? What do I think I have to do? And where do I start? Then who do I call to make the changes, the commitments? And how do I handle commitments? What commitments can I take on? What's getting in my way? Where did I fall behind? See, these are all things. Your brain doesn't like to be messed up with new routines. Our brain likes to follow a routine. I'm not in a library. I'm just in a small studio in my garage, actually. So sometimes we battle self-doubt or negative beliefs about our ability to change. I'm not good enough. I'm stuck here. This is never going to change. I've tried this out. It's just not going to happen. And then we give little wins in. But when you find yourself doing that, think about where you have one, where you had made changes. Hey, the one time where I would typically have a reaction, I just didn't give it. There's people in our lives sometimes that want to confront. And when they confront, just let them win, because now they got something to brag about. Let them think what they want. Don't give your energy out to negative people. And when you have goals, you're providing yourself with reasons to commit. When you have a goal, it can serve as a motivation. It can serve as a reason. And when they're in smaller steps and you're checking in, that's what's important right here. Staying accountable and tracking your progress in life with this course. We've come a long way. There's people that have been in here and they come back because it's a type of motivation. And we have to watch out what things could keep us from staying on course. Think of it this way. If your car runs out of gas, it still has momentum. That's called inertia. Inertia is a force. Like when you're running, you can't stop all the way or you go forward. That's inertia. Once you get a habit going, you want it to gain inertia. You want it to gain. So if a car runs out of gas, what's happening? It's still moving from the energy that it has. And when you boost more, you think of a car, it's got to work with the engine, the transmission, all these parts. And sometimes parts of them don't feel so well. Well, that's us. Sometimes we're too tired. And when you get older, then your knees might hurt, your arms might hurt. And then what are you focusing on? So our brain is like this. It has a lot of parts where it is tired. It's looking for dopamine. And it doesn't like to be interrupted with its regular routine. So self-doubt comes in usually where there's lack of motivation. And a lot of times new habits are hard to find because there's a lot of immediate gratification in today's world. From scrolling to watching TV, where it's just easier, where I can just settle down and not have to deal with myself, not have to deal with my hobbies, not have to deal with new habits, not have to deal with things, staying in autopilot, which is easier, which is what we know. Once you come out of it, I need new spark plugs too. Once you come out of it, and you start building this routine to have an intentional life and recognizing where you're needing it. So right up here, number one, we're on the week 12 is integration and the commitment to become intentional. This 12-week course was about recognizing where there's autopilot in your life and recognizing where you can change intentions. And recognizing where you feel burdened or overwhelmed in life, where you're doing things that you feel you have to do. And there's still things that we are going to have to do in life, and they might give us a sense of doom, but can we just change the perspective of it a little bit? Because if there's things that we're doing that doom us some, or that we feel overwhelmed by, which causes procrastination, which we learned in this course that sometimes procrastination is just being overwhelmed. It's your body telling you, hey, you're too tired. Don't do this right now. So I don't feel like doing it. So we got to recognize what in our life is overwhelming us, where we become tired, what our limits are, by taking care of ourselves mentally, by walking, by having exercise in our life, by doing certain things that are going to give you energy. And one of the things that's the opposite of energy is the fear of the unknown, the fears that we have, but we don't know what they are. So they're just holding us back. And change often involves stepping into uncertainty in our life. We don't recognize it, but we can't go around it, jump over it, skip around it. You got to walk through fear. You got to understand what it is, because it has something to do with you. And if these steps aren't working, it still has to do with you. And journaling it and starting small, creating a ritual every day to realize I'm going to live intentional. These are the 3 things this week that are hard for me to do, that I'm going to create a new habit to do them. Why am I doing that? Where do I need to work on myself? Attach your habit to an existing routine, your new habit. So if you have a existing routine that you do every day, say it's brushing your teeth, that's when you can think about living intentionally, clarifying my thoughts. What's going to go good today? What are you looking forward to today? When you come home at night, what went right today? This is participating in your life. This is taking charge of your life and arranging it to put you back, habit stacking, putting you back in check. Remember, your intentions, and no matter who you are to live a good, peaceful life, to get some peace, to get some tranquility out of life, to set back and moments of the day to realize, man, I've done it, to relax, to watch spring turn into summer, and then watch the seasons change, and to feel the change in your brain, and to pray, and to worship whatever it is you believe in. So comfort zones, we got to watch out for them. We got to watch out for the comfort zones. We're going to watch out for triggers, and we want to commit. We want to commit to a better life. We're going to do that through journaling. I've got a little bit that I wrote down that I want people to know that I've been in here, to understand the challenges that you're going to face after this 12 weeks. And these are what I believe, and these are some of what I had to overcome. And one is just the nature of changing, right? So the nature of changing is just fear. It leads to avoiding change altogether, as familiar things feel safer, right? Think about when you go somewhere different, even to sleep at night, You're used to sleeping at your house where you're nice and safe, and you go maybe to a different cabin out in the woods. That's a change. And you're like, gosh, I hope that no bear gets in here. Our mind just always has these fears. You might wake up the next morning and think, gosh, that was the best sleep I ever had. See, so sometimes good things can happen when we're facing fear. Just because you have fear doesn't mean there's a danger there. Remember, our brains are always scanning uncertainty and fear. And unfortunately, it leads into reasons why we're not going to make a change is because of A, B, C, D, E. All these reasons that we come up. So go through them. So that's just in the nature of change. It involves stepping into the uncertainty, which can be intimidating. Very intimidating to change. And another reason is because we fear failure. And there's discomfort in new situations. Or maybe sometimes a change might, in fact, a loss of something that you know. Like, I don't want to give this up yet. I don't want to give up this to make the positive changes, because this is the one thing that I need. And it could be a habit, a routine that we know that we do just isn't healthy. And we don't get anything out of it, but yet we do it. So going on into fears, it makes us uncomfortable. So familiarity, being familiar with my lifestyle, because I know what's going to happen. But have you ever thought about it this way? Instead of I know what's going to happen, I'm going to make something different happen. That's a thought away. It's one thought away to bring comfort into some of your situations where you're not comfortable. And thinking this way is going to help you integrate and commit to a life that is rewarding, that you wake up looking forward to it. And we're naturally drawn to our comfort zones, our habits, and our routines and environments that we know. But to change and to make this happen, you got to leave some of those comfort zones. Eventually we jump out of our walkers as children. We start walking on our own. And yet we fall, we trip, but we continue to walk. When we learn to ride a bike, we bumped ourselves, lost teeth, got stitches. But the moment that we were able to ride it, we got a sense of freedom and enjoyment, some dopamine, the freedom. We're meant to be free. And the more that you free yourself of fears, the more of this freedom you're going to feel. It feels good. It feels good to be free. And at that point, when you do it enough, now you're looking for challenges. And making it a challenge in small steps and challenges of what you want to change in life. That's called living. That's called living your life instead of life happening to you. Finding the challenges, writing them down, become intentional. Clarify your intentions right here and start small. Positive reinforcement, that comes from you. You don't need cheerleaders on the side. You don't have to tell everybody. You can make slow changes in your life. And it's not about other people recognizing it. It's about you recognizing it. It's about you being kind to yourself. It's about you living stoic. You don't need to yell. You don't need to cuss. You don't need to be frustrated. And if you find yourself that way, then get your rest. I often find that I get worn out, stressed, and a lot of it has to do with lack of rest. That's the one thing that I don't do. I don't have days off, but this isn't about me. I have a lot going on, and I have so much challenge in my life because I enjoy it, but I'm tired, and sometimes that can make you cranky. So the brain tends to resist interruptions to routine, even though the change could be beneficial. So your brain is going to sometimes not want to be interrupted by your great idea to live intentional, by your great idea to do things a different way so you can be more comfortable. See, that's in yourself. So it's your own self. Remember, everything that we're going through is the way we've been living. What's happening to us today is all a result from all of our decisions and everything that's happened to us in the past, but we don't stay in the past. And if you've had a bumpy life and we're up and down, does this even work? And went up and down, this and that. And where do you start? Well, right here, today. And we don't worry about that. We just make ourselves better, as smooth as possible. That's where you start, right? So the comfort zone requires leaving your comfort, which can feel overwhelming. And when you feel overwhelmed, that's change happening. That's different. That you're noticing something different in your life. That is change happening. That's sitting in a different chair. That's doing something different. That's giving yourself a opportunity to live a better life, right? Another thing that's going to get us away from all of these things is self-doubt, internal narratives of self-doubt. A lot of us battle self-doubt and negative beliefs, as I did for many years of my life. I had a lot of phrases, I'm not good enough, it just won't stick. And it hindered processes in my life. When you recognize that, is replace it with why not? Question it. We were talking about our self-critic. If we could take him out of our head and put him on a witness stand and question him, he would have zero facts, right? For some reason, we believe this self-critic. Low confidence is a lack of self-efficiency. This deters us from even attempting to adopt new habits. And that's where low confidence is. And low confidence can come from ourselves, something in the past, a small itty bitty little bit of trauma, a big trauma. And that's not today. We don't have to go back to fix anything, but recognizing that our low self-confidence could come from our childhood, could cause just from one moment or one thing that happened into our life. But that's not what's happening now. Once you make the decision to clarify your intentions in life, that decision written down on a journal is the beginning of action. And we were talking earlier about inertia. Action has momentum, and momentum needs brakes. And when we have momentum, it's like tapping your brakes a little bit. This little bit of low self-esteem, low self-confidence. It doesn't stop us, but it's breaking us a little bit. It's taking away some of our energy. It's taking away our momentum. And sometimes it'll have a win, but we need to stay aware that that's going to happen, that our setbacks are created by ourselves, that nothing can hold us back. We're not going to hit a brick wall. We're not going to just be instantly stopped. When the brakes get tapped from our momentum, it's our own self-doubt. It's our own self talking to us. It's thinking that other people are recognizing that we're out of our comfort zone, that we don't know what we're doing, but fuck other people. When it comes to your life, it's what you think about yourself. And I'm not saying come a freaking psychotic narcissist, but come on. Your life full of love and your life full of what you want overflows into the people you want in your life. It also makes you strong enough to create boundaries, to get out of a comfort zone, to finally tell some people to shut the hell up. And I'll tell you, it's a good feeling because I've done that a lot. And life's not about making friends. It's becoming a friend with yourself. And those that you recognize, there'll be people that fit in your circle. I promise you. Don't worry about losing people over having boundaries. You're going to just find that you're a people pleaser sometimes. And all these people were coming around you. You know, do a little self-test. Don't call anybody for 15 days. See who calls you. See how your phone's ringing. Sometimes we're the people that bring the energy. And it's lots of lessons. Yeah, that's so true. Good morning, Kelly. Thanks for being in here. Hope you're having a good day. It's our last week of week 12. We've been in here for 12 weeks. I don't even know how many days that is. 12 times 7. Oh, man, I have to do math right now. 84. If that's wrong, I feel stupid. So the self-doubt and our limiting beliefs, that's one of our hiccups. That's one of the brakes tapping as we're moving forward. You ever have somebody in front of you just thinking about like this and they just constantly hitting their brakes? Have you ever been behind that person in traffic? Like, why does this guy keep hitting his brakes? Sometimes think of that as ourself trying to go forward, and then every time you hit the brakes, it's a negative thought. Every time you see that car speed up, that's a positive thought. So this is how your mind works with momentum, with going forward. When we're clarifying our intentions, my intentions to live are this. to get to a point where I could retire one day. And I bet everybody, wouldn't you all like that? Yes. To do it as peacefully as possible, to do it as honest as possible, to do it with integrity, our morals and our values, right? Not to be used by people, and to be kind to myself. There's a lot of virtues and things that we want in our lives. Self-doubt is going to limit your beliefs. Oh, I'll never retire. Oh, no one's going to want to hang out with me. I'm an old grouch. If you agree with it, that's okay. But none of that's true about ourselves, the way we beat ourselves up like that. So the lack of self confidence sometimes can keep us from even attempting to try something new. I was trying to think of a smooth way to say that, but when you have self-doubts, write down, I want to do this, and here's why I don't. Here's why I don't. So the lack of clear goals, that's another thing. So these are a little list I have of what's going to chop us up to integrate and commit to put in our life to become more intentional. And it's a lack of clear goals. It's a lack of vision in your own life, not a lack of what other people are doing or getting something new or anything material. This is a lack of, we want to change, but we lack the clear, actionable goals. Without specific objectives, the path forward seem ambiguous, leading to indecision and inaction. Indecision and clear action. Not being quite sure of what to do next is okay sometimes. But that's another hitting the brake pedal. That's another thing that's slowing us down. It's a thought. You know, a good little habit is think today. What do you think? And if you want to look at your thoughts, am I hitting the brakes or am I moving forward? Am I hitting the gas pedal or the brakes? What am I doing? So our goals and a lack of them provide motivation and a reason to commit. So a lack of goals and not being intentional about your goals is like just letting life happen to you, probably. So when you wake up, everything that's going to happen today is just going to be, it's here for your reaction. You're just sitting in the audience, and the play you're watching is your life. And you're either laughing or crying. It's creating emotion. You're sitting there. You're not active. You're just watching it go by. That's a life on autopilot. That is a life of a reaction. And one of the things that causes that today is it's so easy to get dopamine from scrolling, from social media, from shows, and hearing about other people's failures. It is just, to some people, exhilarating, and sometimes even to ourselves, right? At one point, before computers, the best-selling newspaper wasn't the New York Times, it was the Inquirer. It was all made-up bullshit about people. So that's because it gave immediate gratification. New habits generally require time before you feel benefits, right? So if we're going to watch a good show or go do something for immediate gratification, we get rewarded right then and there. But if we have a new habit and we're deciding that we want to become intentional, take control of ourselves and break us from the chains, it's not instant gratification. It's a reward that you feel later. It's a reward that you receive for putting in effort, time, and energy and focus into your change. And this is why you have to start small, create a ritual, track your progress, stay accountable, clarify your intentions. Along the road of identifying triggers and things that are going to muck you up. So patience is needed in this. Real change takes time, and many people struggle with the patience because, you know why? We live in a world of results. I can sit on my couch and get coffee delivered from 7-Eleven. I don't even have to get up for coffee. There's an app for everything, instant. And that is where you're sitting, and you're the only person in your audience watching your life as a play, a bag of reactions. Not only are we digging into our bag to find this reaction, to react to all these things that happen to us. Life's playing it out. We're not directing. We're not producing. We're not the writer. But yes, we are. We can say cut, and we can jump on stage and fucking fire all the actors, fire all the fake things about ourselves, and take control from this moment forward. This is who I am. Claim your identity. And you're really going to like it, because when you claim in your identity, it's done through journaling. It's done through self-reflection. It's done through work. And here's just a breakdown that you're going to need to overcome the resistance that's going to keep you from doing that. This whole 12-week course. And if you missed it, go to my link on my profile. It's free. Go right to YouTube. You can watch it all. So acknowledging some fears, breaking them down, building a support system, and focusing on the benefits. You want to focus on benefits and checkpoints, because when you're living an intentional life and you're going to start living life instead of life living to you, you got to focus on the benefits you're going to create for this. If I go to work 20 minutes early every day to pound out my emails, I'm going to have more time to be creative. What's that require? Getting out of bed a little earlier, doing a little bit more. If I did my laundry in little bits through the week, instead of just, it's my Saturday ritual, I can do my laundry a little bit through the week, and I will write and journal during one load of laundry every other day, right? Reminders of your accomplishments. How can I integrate into habits I have? A new way of thinking. How can I integrate into my life that I shouldn't have any reason to doubt myself? I've done A, B, C, D, E, F, G. I've done all of these things. How do I walk around this fear? How do I get rid of my fears? You walk through them. You don't go around them. You don't avoid them. You don't hide them. And these things and these fears and a lot of the resistance we have are already formed habits in our head. We've assured ourselves sometimes that we can't do this. We've assured ourselves that this is happening to us because we deserve it. It's something that is just always going to be there. And then we're complacent with it because it's always there. Instead of making intentional action, that I don't want this in my life anymore, that I'm tired of it being there, you can kick it out. It's on you. You don't have to put up with any cockadoodle bullshit in your life, especially self-doubt, your self-critic. That's not what you're here for. You know, give yourself some mental high fives and say, I got this. I'm tired of thinking this way. This person or this group makes me feel that way. I don't like this going here anymore. I don't like working there. I'm not getting a raise. I'm not getting change. Make the change happen. Stop watching your life like it's a fucking play and start directing it. Get up, write, journal, dream big. Don't go for no more stinking thinking. That's right. Overcome your resistance. When you're overcoming your resistance, the change starts to occur. When the change starts to occur, you're feeling uncomfortable. So then you back away. Once you're feeling uncomfortable, you're starting to move. The change is happening. Get out of your comfort zone. Get out and start resisting comfort. Get out, walk, go to work. I know people, and I'm not even kidding you, who fucking work so hard at avoiding work. I've never seen it. And I'm not even going to say it because I'm on social media, but there's a group I work with and yesterday, and there's times, and man, these motherfuckers put a whole new shine on the L in lazy. They work hard to avoid having to move their bodies. Lazy bones. Lazy bones. Don't let your mind be lazy. Don't fall into not getting things. It is harder not working. And they have to hide in corners. These are the same people that throw you under the bus. Their rituals are blame everybody. Not my fault. I didn't do it. Have you ever heard a lazy person to complain? No, because they're too lazy to even complain. So, what's it mean to live intentional to you? That should mean making deliberate choices of how you're going to spend your time, where you're going to put your energy, deliberately doing things that are going to create long-term benefits. Not right now, not like I'm going to go set out for a walk. I'm going to go scroll TikTok for a minute. Those are instant gratifications. Your approach to life should have long-term, and instant gratifications, by the way, are okay. Do a quick scroll to see who's around. There's people we like. There's people we like to see, but we got to do it within reason, right? So with all of this, we want to create a long-term integration plan. And as we know, Friday will be our last day of this series, which is the week 12, and it'll be better than today. I always say that. Fridays are better because I already have some new thoughts from talking today. So connect learning about yourself to your life. Connect learning about yourself to life. Connect you to your life instead of letting things happen. Connect to you, because I assure you, you're a good person. You're funny. You have a sense of humor. And if you ever found yourself laughing at something or being somewhere and laughing, find some of those memories. Where were you? Where were you the last time you just felt comfortable? Where were you the last time you really giggled? Remind yourself that I got to have time today to giggle at myself, and I got to have time to engage in my life and indulge in some things about myself and explore some things. Not to be seen, not to go out and be seen doing this, but recognizing within yourself today to giggle, to laugh, and not let yourself get overwhelmed because of other people or because of jobs or because of things that are happening. Control it, ignore them. And some of the things that are happening that you don't care about, label them with funny names. You don't want to deal with the bacon. You don't want to deal with the eggs. You don't want to deal with things. See, life's about choices, and choices are where you're spending your time. But most importantly, not just that, life's about choices, and choices are also what you're thinking, where you're spending time up here, where you're thinking up here, where your energy is going to lead you to, where today's thoughts are going to lead you to. That's time and energy. Come into the moment right now. We have a beautiful season starting, no matter where you live. You have things to look forward to, and one of them is acknowledging yourself and becoming a friend of yourself. When you make the choice that you're going to make yourself laugh and giggle and do something for yourself. I had an analogy one time to think of that one person who would visit and all the things that you would make sure were just perfect for them, that they were comfortable, that they stayed here, that things are going to work out. Do that for yourself. Make the clear choice today to engage in your thoughts, not just let them run through. Stop with a thought. Where do I want my life to be? Not for immediate gratification, but for future rewards and benefits. Where are you going to get it? Connect. Connect to learning more about yourself. Connect to journaling. How about you journal every time you do your laundry? How about you journal and be good to yourself every time for 3 minutes before you start your job or work, or in the morning before you get out of bed? Be grateful. Remind yourself that you're alive, that you are a candle and you want to protect yourself and keep burning and burning and burning. So, having your action plan, I want you to develop an action plan that details how you're going to incorporate new thinking into your life. And you're going to do this with awareness, with being mindful, first that you're living. And you're going to watch out for triggers, and you're going to watch out for tapping on the brakes. Get your momentum going. Take a breath. Everything's going to be okay. Everything's going to be okay. What is missing in your life is sometimes abundant thinking. Now, I have a choice today, and I'm going to make this about me for a second. I can either be overwhelmed today or I can be in control. And I choose to be in control of what I have control over. And there's going to be things happening today that are going to keep me from getting things complete that I have no control over. And some days, there's going to be 6 of those and only one thing we're in control of. But some days, there's going to be 20 things we're in control of and only one thing that happens that's not in our control. And as you start living intentionally and recognizing who should be in your life, who should be doing things for you, who do you trust? Well, first start with trusting yourself. Do you know what I mean? Now, if you want to make big decisions, you might have fears, you might have lack of thought. And one of the reasons that you do, because of the confidence levels or stuff that you have, is that you might not have ever really felt a benefit of making a long-term goal and tracking the progress, having to where you're going to celebrate it. Part of it is just staying accountable, realizing it's accountable. You can't say this is my mom's fault, my dad's fault, my wife, this person's fault, my boss's fault. My job sucks because of my boss. My life sucks because of my children. I can't get any sleep because of my dog. There's all these reasons that we pick at. And if you find yourself thinking that you're a victim of other people, you really should write down of how you're a victim of yourself and what your perception is. Because we're taught the way to live when we're younger, and we can choose the way we live when you're an adult and you're out. So start small, create some new rituals, right? And use positive reinforcement. Positive reinforcement is giving yourself some wins. I did this. I actually made it through today by finding things that I can control. You know, I did try journaling, and it actually helped me, even if you do it once. And if you do it twice, find the time to do that. That is positive reinforcement. Positive reinforcement comes from within. It's celebrating that I got this done, right? Giving yourself a mental high five, treating yourself when you maintain a habit for a week. What habit would you like to consistently do every day for a week? For me, it would be to walk 3 miles every day for a week. I have done that in the past, but I haven't lately. And I've used it. Oh, it's too cold. Oh, I'd rather sleep in. So it's these things that happen to us in our life. You know, I like to stay, not complain for a week. Impossible for me. I still get satisfaction out of complaining. And it keeps me aware, I feel. It's beneficial because it makes me aware. I'm not a blamer. I'm not looking for blame. But, man, a good complaining session is pretty good. But staying accountable and tracking our progress by following, just some basic steps and things that we've talked about over here for 12 weeks should make a little difference in your life, even if it's just a teeny weeny bit. And it does help process things, especially if you complain out loud. It's a way of thinking, and it's a way of hearing yourself. And when you complain and don't feel guilty, then you're probably right. Now, when we want to integrate all of this into our life, you're going to evaluate where you constantly feel you stand. And you're going to do that. Where do I feel I stand in life? Where am I with my job? Where am I maybe with my finances? How am I with my friends? How am I with that? Not how do they look at, but how do you feel about these situations? And you want to have an action plan that details how these things and places will stay into your life or not through boundaries, and to incorporate lessons on how they can be part or not part of your daily routine. So, to put it this way, if we were to grab a little seed of a flower, and let's just say there's a little seed here, we ask it, what do you want? No weeds around itself, okay, that's fair. To be planted in fertile soil, okay, that's fair. The sun and water. Pretty simple, right? Have no weeds around it, to be in a nice sunny spot, to get water, regularly fed, fertilized. Now think of yourself as a plant still growing. You don't want weeds around you. You want to be on solid ground. You want to have good mental health, and you need to be fed well, right? So integrate that into your plan. Put yourself and plant yourself where you're going to blossom and where you're going to feel good. Sometimes we're in the wrong place. Ground yourself and feel the energy of being alive. Take control of your resources that you don't use, the resources that you know that you have. Go back to that one hobby or that action that made you feel good. Take the day off to go fishing. Take the day off to walk your dog. Take the day off to just be yourself. Go somewhere and sit and smell some lilacs. Make an aim to satisfy yourself and your life and your mind, and value other people for the kind behaviors that they bring into your life, and recognize those who are kind to you. Those are the people that tolerate us. Those are the people that know we're complainers and still love us. So do regular check-ins when you're continuing growth, when you're bringing this into your life. And on your future, set future goals regularly, and they can change all the time. Where do you want to go this week? Where do you want to go? Good morning, Anderson. Anyone that comes in here and comments, sometimes if I don't say hi, it's not to be rude. I try to watch the bottom comments, but at the same time, when I prepare this show, I write little bits of how it works, and when I go through here, is I have. This is how I prepare for a show. I just have little thoughts that I write down, little bits of journaling, and then I'm writing them down. I'm doing great. I'm writing them down as we go, and that's how I do this. And sometimes I just need to look down at it, one sentence, because it's tied to some memory that I have. I don't know how my memory works. Something like that. Something like that. But I know that a lot of the people that watch are people that like to set future commitments, that like what I say, and not everyone's going to agree with everything I have to say. But we can all agree that we would like a good life that's not influenced by negativity. We don't want to be around negative people. We don't want to be around people that make us feel less of ourselves. And we need to recognize that there's narcissists and people out of here. And from this course, I really, really like those that watched all of it to integrate it into their life, to become an intentional person where you can, to intentionally make things happen to yourself that you know you have control of, and changes that you can make. And that's what's important. Ongoing support and accountability from yourself. When you're supporting yourself and you have ongoing commitments and check-ins, and don't forget that sometimes our inner critic's going to apply the brakes when we least expect it. If you feel you're being insulted, remember all the compliments. Don't focus on anything freaking negative. Break it down. Break it down. Break down what you need to overcome. Break down what you're afraid of. Don't go around it, go through it. Make it happen. You got nothing to fear other than growth. And it's hard. Growing's hard because it takes us away from being comfortable. And it takes us sometimes into unforeseen fears that happen. It takes us out of our comfort zone. It's like a fear of heights, right? You're just not going to go walk a straight line between two tall buildings because you're afraid of heights. But making a change in life, there's no fear of falling or failing, but success is a series of failures that we have. It's trial and error. So you got to fail to succeed. Developing resources in your mental mind, in the way that you think, in the way that you're being, is, yeah, that's right, nothing to fear but fear itself. You want to connect, right? Connect to your life. Start connecting to your life today. When you're connecting to your life, you're no longer watching it as a play. You're not letting life live you. Start living life. And to do that, you have to be intentional. You have to make intentional decisions, intentional thinking. What's happening to you and what you're thinking is your life, and you do have control over it. So when we started this 12 weeks ago, we had a little agenda to wake up from autopilot and what does it mean to live intentionally. And we started talking about living by default versus living by design. And let's go back to where we started, right? We were to live by design means that we're engaging in our life and that we're enjoying it. And this, I try to get it to where you can read some things and shut the music off so we can just talk. So, living by design. These are some words that are up there that you can think in any situation if you're living that way. If you're engaging, enjoying, pre planning, available for yourself, living moments and feelings, being intended on purpose and conscious, calculated, living by design. But remember, we're in a fast world. We like instant everything. I think that all started with instant coffee. That's a joke. Living by default. This is the autopilot where we're kind of unaware, which happens to us. Happens to me in some areas where there's unintended, accidental, involuntary, unthinking, unplanned, unexpected, unforeseen. And we don't have time for ourselves because our life's just happening to us and we're reacting to it. And that's what we're talking about when we're talking about intentional living on our 12th week. And there's been people here, and I've seen you, and I thank you, that have been here every week. And they would have had to have gotten something out of this. And the hard thing is that sometimes we ask ourselves, how do we integrate this? By being aware, by being mindful, watching out for the little taps of doubt and things that come into our lives, and engaging in your life, recognizing that intentional living isn't Alicia, I'm so glad that you're always here. And the single tasking instead of multitasking is staying more intentional. And you've said so many things in here that's helped out this live. We appreciate you. So, creating the long term integration plan is going to start with just clarifying our intentions, starting small, create a ritual, positive reinforcement, tracking your progress, stay accountable. Now, a ritual to have is self reflection. And if anybody has some notes on your phone and you can hit the talk into it, you can leave yourself a message. You can talk to yourself. That's not crazy. That's like um, journaling. It'll help you see what you think at different times when you read it. How do you feel when you get up in the morning? Are you reminding yourself that you're in charge? Even if you work for somebody else, you're in charge of the way that you go about it and the way that you think. You're on your own. So that immediately takes out anybody that can ruin your day, right? There's tools and techniques. Journaling is probably one of the most powerful. You can see how far you've come. Hopefully, I hope so too. These classes help me. Journaling is probably the most powerful tool you can have in your life, because through journaling is reflection. It's writing down the course we've taken, whatever you want to journal about. And if you're afraid to journal, you can journal and burn. Every 3-4 days, burn it. Who cares? It's your thoughts. But when you're journaling, it can make your thoughts new. It can make them consistent. And we need to sometimes invite new thoughts into our life. As we get older, we're going to need less. We're going to know more. We're going to be wiser. But sometimes these old habits stick around. And some of them are about how we spend our time and how we're thinking and what we feel we should be thinking. And most importantly, how we treat ourselves. Sometimes we all put ourselves to the side to treat other people better. And that's okay, but you can't let it control your life. You can't be a big time people pleaser. So there's things that we want to talk about this Friday. This Friday is going to be all about our 12th week right here, our 12th week. And I'm hoping that the autopilot in your life is an autopilot that you've created, And what I mean by that is through new habits, through new mental thinkings, that you have a momentum to move forward, that you're intentionally living your life, that you're connecting to learn about your life. You will do so well. And you want to reflect and adapt and create your framework for yourself today. So today is Tuesday, and Friday is our last day of this 12-week course. And so we did it. It's pretty cool. I had fun doing it. And I showed up on mornings tired. I've showed up on mornings not feeling like it, just like anything. And sometimes it's to stay the commitment, and how it makes me feel now that I did it. I didn't miss one. And I've had a lot of journeys that I've done on here where I might have missed one or two, where I gave in to comfort or whatever, but I didn't miss a damn one. And I might have been a minute late, but I don't care. It's us. Thank you so much, Farm Girl. It's us that we like to judge and beat ourselves up. And if anything, I also do this for you. I do this for the people that send me messages, whose names I see on here. It makes me feel very blessed that that you see on TikTok. And there's some people from TikTok that are part of my life, and I appreciate that very much. And I appreciate all of you back. So we're going to see you live on Friday. And I don't know, man, do you think we should have some different music since it's the last day on Friday? If you have a genre or something that you want me to play, I will. So you don't have to listen to my boring classical every day, which isn't so boring. Have a good day, everybody. Thanks for stopping in. Make your week all about you and engage with your thinking and your mind.